Welcome back to Spud Run Golf. I'm Jeremy here in Southern Ohio at our backyard golf course. In this episode, as promised, we're going to give away some Pro V1s and we're going to go through a question and answering session. I picked the number 18. 18 holes, 18 questions. Why do they have 18 holes? The old story goes it took 18 shots of scotch to finish the bottle. That's technically not true. St. Andrews, the old course, they started with 22 holes and they end up shortening 2 par 4s to make 2 holes out of those. It turned it into 18 holes. And that's kind of how it's stuck ever since, in case you were wondering. We've got a brand new piece of equipment we're going to pick up for the golf course. Get into those questions as we're driving the truck down the road, rolling in my 5.0, answering your questions. Let's go. Before we even get out of the driveway, we're going to jump into hole number 1. Comes from David Morissette. He asks, what course would I like to play in the world? Not in the United States. And he said, I can't use St. Andrews, which is okay, David. I would pick Royal Melbourne. It's over in Australia. It's a Dr. McKenzie design course. I'd love to go to Australia and play that course. Dr. McKenzie has special to our heart because he designed the Scarlet and Gray course at Ohio State University here just north of us. He didn't actually get to see the whole course through construction, but he was instrumental in the layout of the Scarlet Gray golf course at Ohio State University. On the road again, in a 2-hole, Jesse Phillips asked a great question. Jesse asked, what would I do different? He says, what one thing would I do differently if I had to go back and redo it? Jesse, there's a ton of things I would redo differently. A ton. I guess the first most important thing I would do is make the green bigger. It would pretty much take the same effort, same time, same amount of chemicals to mow a green, almost at least the size and a half. So I wish I would have made it bigger. The second biggest doubt I'm beginning to really struggle with is my grass seed type for the fairway and tee boxes. I used a turf type 12 fescue. It's called Titan, that's the brand. I was able to get it down pretty solid at 2 inches last summer, but I think my long-term goals, I'd like to really get it down a lot lower, so I'm thinking about overseeding those with Kentucky bluegrass. But we really need some irrigation for that Kentucky bluegrass to be as strong as it needs to be, but that's also part of the plan. Other than that, no big changes. I really like, you know, the green construction, how we built it. Everything else was definitely professional level, and I don't have any other regrets. As we approach hole number 3, Mason asked, what was the biggest challenge that I faced during construction? Mason, I don't think we had too many challenges. For the most part, the heavy lifting, the construction work, the equipment work, that's all stuff we're used to doing, so there was no hesitation there with any of that. I guess my biggest reservation was the whole time of budgeting. I was trying to save money, and that probably reverts back to the other question of my regret of not making the green big enough. It's always, you're wanting to obviously do the best you can, but you're trying to save money, and that sometimes compromises your decisions on this hole. And then after I've seen the hole grow and just how much potential it's got, that was probably my biggest obstacle, was the budgeting and making the right calls with the budget I had. Number 4, Quattro. Eric Gall asked, what is the course record? Good story about Eric Gall. So Eric is local to our local town. He lives in California now, I believe. He'd sent me a private email, but Eric, his dad, is on the country club board, and we've redone some bunkers up there at the country club. I've never met Eric myself, but I've met his dad several times. But it was just cool how he found his hometown channel about a golf course, or about a backyard golf hole, clear out in California, through the YouTubes. Course record, Eric. There is no course record. I don't know if I've ever actually played all the holes by myself, really keeping score. We're always just tinkering. I'd love to have a 1-ball tournament next year to where each and everybody plays their own ball. I'd really like to get probably 4 or maybe 8 of the best golfers I know and go out there and have a good little cash day. Hopefully I get to cash in. Al from the UK at number 5 asked, what are the plans for the future? Another great question, Al. There's several plans. It's never ending of what I can do. As long as I'm enthusiastic about it, I have my health and financially can afford to keep doing things, I'm going to keep doing it. And we'll touch on this, another question I saw. But in the immediate future, I do know we want to get on that one, I think it's number 7. It's a little par 3, or no, number 6, excuse me. It's a par 3 down the hill. I'd like to put like a 19th hole type little structure there that we can tee off of, hang out. That's this winter. I'd like to have that ready to rock and roll by spring. Also, this winter, I think you guys maybe have me talked into doing a sand trap. I've got the layout for a sand trap, irrigation, some major components there. You know, the irrigation, that bunker, and then the rest is going to be general maintenance. Future plans are plentiful. And another big thing with future plans I just spoke of, it's all time dependent, guys. I'm super busy, like we're all busy. I've got several things in the fire, several irons in the fire. One I'm actually doing that you might be excited about is I'm doing an Airbnb here. And that Airbnb is probably gonna, well, we'll address that in another question. Number 6, Jackson Steele asked, how did we take out all the trees and prep the soil? There again, I already touched on that. It's simple with the equipment we've got, the dozers, the tracos. That was all second nature to what we do. I've got the sawmill, so we took advantage of most of those trees and we built buildings with them, with the usable lumber that we harvested. The soil prep, I was just cautious with what little topsoil we had on top. Now the topsoil we had on top is great topsoil, but it has a lot of creek rocks and a lot of small rocks. That's something we'll never be able to get rid of, I don't think. I picked out the big ones. As we play, we pick out bigger rocks. If you ever get a chance to play Spud Run Golf, don't bring your good Vokey wedges, which I play with my good wedges, but I don't want to be responsible for a big old rock mark on the bottom of your wedge. Calds90, that's his call name on YouTube, asked, what's in the bag? You guys have probably seen my zebra putter. I actually have a handful of zebra putters. I've got DCI irons. Now that, I'm not a tightwad by any means. I blow money all the time. But I'm using the same irons and partially wedges that I've used since I was 15 or so. My Titleist DCI irons all have the same original grips on them, except for I think my pitching wedge. I think in a Rage and Fit in high school I broke my pitching wedge. Got a Titleist driver right now. Got a Top Flight 5 wood. The Top Flight Spalding 5 wood is back from '94, and I got a newer Nike 3 wood. Zebra putter, and I do have a nice Titleist. I love my wedges. I've got a newer wedge. I just actually got on a golf trip here this fall. That's what's in the bag. Kyle Gray, the par 3, number 8. We're teeing off together, brother. You ask, what is the reason for the name Spud Run Golf? Fantastic question. I'm actually working on footage for a video, probably January or February, of why it's called Spud Run Golf. I can tell a great story on that of why it's called Spud Run Golf, but it's got to do with my buddy, 2 high school golfers that we were, a 3,000-acre farm, and they farm potatoes. I'll not say no more about that. You'll have to stay tuned for that episode, because I'm gonna put together a nice episode for the reason that we call it Spud Run Golf. Good question, buddy. Number 9, going into the clubhouse, we've got a tough one. Don't they always make the number 9 holes a little tougher? Especially around the Myrtle Beach area, it seems like the number 9 hole is always tough. Catfish Gold asked, was it hard to convince my wife to let me do a backyard golf hole? Now, so, no, it wasn't at all. I don't even think she knew what I was doing. I'm super busy. I'm always busy doing something, so I really don't know. I mean, she has nothing to do with the finances of that. She's got horses. We've got a horse barn. She loves horses. We've got this new property here. We're going to have a couple years. I wanted the golf green, and I don't even know if she knew that. But she always wanted horses, so I busted my tail to build her a horse barn, horse lot, get the horses, horse trailers, horse blah, blah, blah. So you might be able to sense the negativity in my voice about horses. You are correct. I don't like the horses. Anyways, back to our question, brother. No, it wasn't hard to convince her about the golf green, the golf hole. I just rock and rolled with it, and so that's not taking money out of her pocket for her projects. And I still managed to make the time to do her projects too. And she actually would like to see me play on it some more. 9 holes, I think we're close to even par, guys. I feel good about what we're going here and how it's going. I hope that you guys are learning something good. And if nothing else, you're getting more invested in Spud Run Golf here. Let's go to the iPad to see who wins these Pro V1s. And I did check. I can pretty much ship these golf balls anywhere except for Australia. So, if you're down under, sorry, mate. You're shit out of luck for getting the golf balls. But the rest of the countries and USA, we're going to get these golf balls out. So let's go to the iPad, see who gets the Pro V1s to hack them up, shoot them in the water. Come on. All right, here we are at the iPad. We are going to pick the first winner. Same Guy Golf. Hey, bud. Down in the description, look at my email, send me an email, give me your address. Winner number 2. Great question, bud. All right, let's back to the video. Congratulations, guys, on winning those golf balls. We'll get those shipped out ASAP. I need you to go down. My email is in the description of this video. You can shoot me an email so I can get your address and stuff. We'll get those shipped out right away. Good job. So I hope you all had a couple beers at the turn, get your big fat hot dog, your belly's hurting now. You've got a new lease on life for the back 9 because you might have struggled on the front 9, but we always feel better. It's like a new hope going into the back 9. Here we are. Hole number 10, Dan asks, how much land do we have? Do we have room for more holes? Heck yeah. Total here, we've got about 140 acres. Right now, 20 or so acres of that sits as pasture. I could easily, without a lot of work clearing trees, probably poke 4 greens in, 4 more greens in, but I can't do that right now. One, I don't have the money to do it, and I don't have the time to maintain more than what we have right now. And I've said that in a lot of comments in response to other questions in the past. I'd love to do more with it. I'd love to make it better. Better usually means more maintenance. And right now I'm battling with time. But I feel like our foundations get laid for the future of my long-term goals. So as I build this stuff, my goal in retirement is to do more, to where I have more time to maintenance the course. Believe it or not, guys, I like to work on it more. I like to play on it. That sounds crazy, I know. I know you guys would, you think you'd eat it up, and maybe I should. I enjoy the work. I enjoy the pleasures and the fruits of coming from my labor to make that course, to make it enjoyable for my friends and family, and for myself occasionally. Number 11, Garrett Thornton asks, do I plan on putting a green at the other side? I had no intentions of doing that in the short term. So many people have recommended that, and I've thought of it. Having one up near the existing building by number 1 tee box. It makes great sense. I mean, it makes awesome sense. You guys might be able to talk me into doing that next fall. I think you really could. I think it does make sense. Yeah, I think it's very doable. I'm not saying certain, but it all plays out well. Some of the tee boxes you can turn around and play back. You could really, really strengthen the layout and the adversity and the agility of the course layout by adding just 1 more green. Now, I know the last question I said no, especially not for 3 or 4 holes, but I really like how we can function and utilize the existing fairway for 2 holes. And then the golf we played, that kind of is monotonous, driving back and forth. So yeah, that's a great point. That I'm asked that a lot. I've already got the water. Hell, just sitting here talking about it, I'm ready to go do it now. So who knows? But that's a great point, great possibility. You've got me thinking, guy. All right, we're almost there. I want to show you guys what we're picking up. We'll talk more about that before we come down the final stretch of Spud Run Golf's questionnaires. I am a very, very brand loyal person. That could be considered a downfall. But I've always had Kubota mowers. I got Kubota excavator, Kubota side-by-side, Kubota tractor. I did shop for some other mowers, and I just couldn't steer away from the Kubota mower. This will be handy. I actually mowed the fairway and stuff with that Kubota mower last year. And this will really increase our efficiency of mowing the whole place in general. Because like I said, there's, we probably mowed at least 10 acres maybe. And this will really increase the efficiency. And at bigger events, we'll have 2 mowers going still. So that's the deal on the Kubota mower. We've got to get back to our questions. Hole number 12, Brandon D in the house. Brandon says, will you ever open up the course to the public and charge a fee? That kind of goes back, the short answer is no. We can't just have people there all the time, because you would critique it. One, I make it look pretty on the TV, on the videos, but it's not as nice as your local courses yet. Now, it's super fun to play, obviously, and it's going to continue to get better. I can't just have people out there, though, playing anytime they want, because I prep it, I maintenance it before we play on the weekends and stuff. But you might come out on a Tuesday, and it's not going to be properly prepped. The green will still roll and be good, and I think how I parlay that into things is, with the Airbnb. I think that's going to, with the 2-night stay at the Airbnb, get you can come over and play, with the stipulation that it may or may not be in tip-top shape that particular day if things aren't mowed. But in general, things are usually in pretty good shape, especially during the growing season. And I think I'll parlay that into the Airbnb, so you come and stay. Kind of like, it's not a stay and play, but maybe, and that's another reason I was trying to get those golf carts. It'd be handy to have some golf carts over at the Airbnb where you can just jump in, go play a few holes, just go practice. James Adam, hole number 13, says, how much will I be looking at maintenance-wise, or should I look into an artificial green? James, that's a question that can be answered 10 different ways, more than 10 different ways. The maintenance is going to just vary with how deep are you going into it, are you irrigating, what's your fertilizer schedule, how low are you mowing your grass, how much grass do you got to mow, what kind of equipment are you mowing. Man, that could just go on and on and on. So I can't really go into that in a lot of detail just with not knowing what you've got. And it's also going to vary with your climate, your location. So tons of variables go into that. If you want to shoot me a private email and we can talk more about it, I'll be glad to help you out as much as possible, brother. 14, our good buddy Gordon Melrose asks, why are the tees so hairy? Yeah, they're definitely hairy. The last few videos you saw us playing, that was actually after those tee boxes were freshly built and planted and only had, at best, probably 2 mowings on them. So those tee boxes were planted there in October, and the matches I think you saw were from October and November, so they just haven't had time to grow in yet. And I mentioned earlier that I'm considering overseeding and turn those into a Kentucky bluegrass seed that we can mow low with the 0 turn for now. But I think even with the species of bluegrass I would pick out, I could eventually cut that down to even like 3/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch maybe, if I eventually get a real mower for the tees. And yeah, even maybe the fairway. Number 15 is appropriate for what we're hauling down the road. Matt Johnson asked, other than golf carts, any new equipment we're looking at getting? Yes, I'm always looking for equipment. This mower is going to help us out for the roughs and those areas and general mowing. Actually looking for another mower. I would like to put a collar, and I guess I should have mentioned that on future plans. I would like to put a fringe around the green. And I didn't do that originally on purpose because I only had one mower, and it's a pain in the rear end to change that mower height. So I didn't want to change it every time I needed to mow the green versus the collar, the fringe. Wherever you're from, you call it different, I'm sure. I'd like to get another real walk-behind mower, and I've actually had somebody reach out to me that they're going to donate one. They just want to kind of come up. They're a couple hours away. They want to drive up. They're going to bring it. We'll check the course out, show them what we got. It's very cool, so we're staying in touch with him. But as far as equipment, yes, I can't have enough equipment. I'd like to actually get a nice top dresser that I can put behind the tractor, pull around to do the fairway, and just continually improve on stuff like that. We've got the basic equipment to do stuff, and not, you know, you saw in past videos, I beg, borrow, and steal with buddies or local golf courses, which has been awesome. Don't get me wrong, but eventually moving forward, it would be handy to have our own stuff to aerate and do all that. So, great question, buddy. Brad G16, the 16th hole, coming off the tee. Brad G says, how often do you mow your green? I mow my green according to time, allowance, and height of cut or growth. Last year I had it down to where I could pretty much mow every 3 nights. Now I put down a PGR on that green. It's a plant growth regulator, which kind of stunts the growth of the grass, so that helps me out too. Now if we're playing back-to-back days, I'll mow it right before we play, and it really probably takes me 15 minutes to drive back there, get the mower, mow the green, and get back. So it's not a big deal to mow that green. But in general, I found that mowing it every 3 days was just fine for what we were doing last year. Now your golf courses, they're mowing every day and just microscopically taking off a bit of the tip of the blade. I like mowing it, so I'm not saying I do it every 3 days because it's a hindrance. It's just, if there's something else I got going on, I enjoy mowing it. So if I feel like it needs to be mowed every 2 days, even every 1 day, without being burnt out, I will attempt to try to do that and keep it as crisp as possible. Old Tom, I think Old Tom, it's not Old Tom Morse, he's long gone from the old course. Tom Cove, K-O-V, Tom tells me, or wants to know if our services are available outside of Spud Run Golf. So I think Tom was getting that. I think he said he lived up around northern Ohio, maybe 3 or 4 hours away. Tom, I'd love to be able to help you out, but Tom's not going to allow me to travel around and do that. Who knows, maybe one day. I really enjoy the creativity of the, building the undulations. Actually, I enjoy the creativity of seeing them, the undulations and how things should lie before anybody else sees them. And just being around the landscape and construction industry all my life, I feel like I'm good at that. And then I have the experience on the equipment, so it goes hand in hand. So Tom, I'm not gonna be able to make it up. You'd have to get some big loot out, bud, to get me to go up. We stay pretty busy here in our local town, and we do pretty decent making money too. As we approach the 18th, long par 5, actually it's gonna be an easy question. Grant Evans asked, how much do I enjoy the green on a scale of 1 to 10? Grant, it's a no-brainer, brother. It's a 10. We've got so many comments from our short YouTube journey here already. And every once in a while we get the comments, people say we're crazy. Save the money, go to the local course, which I still go to the local course too. That's not the point of having your own backyard golf green. It's the satisfaction you'll get. And I know we got a lot of younger viewers too that maybe don't fully realize yet how satisfaction will change later in your life, and how you might question, think I'm crazy to say I get satisfaction out of working. But that's how I operate. That's how I enjoy having nice stuff. I enjoy having that golf course, and in order, that's something you can't, it costs money to get it to a certain point, but after that point it takes commitment, it takes time, it takes skill. And that does take money, but as you get older in life, satisfaction comes in different ways, and believe it or not, that's a great satisfaction with having our own backyard golf hole, is being able to take something and maintain it and keep it healthy. It's a piece of art, fellas. It is, and it's enjoyable. I can't deny that. It's been very enjoyable, not only to build it, but I'm having just as much fun maintaining it. The army worms definitely sucked. On a scale of 1 to 10, it sucked like 30. But I kept my head up and I took some lessons. I took some hard, deep lessons from that, and we're gonna make sure it don't happen again. Guys, I appreciate you so much. I really do. The channel took explosive growth in the last month or so. Obviously, going into winter, we don't have a lot of good content to show you right now, but we do got some things we're gonna do as weather provides. I'm actually spending so much time right now on my free time on that Airbnb. I might throw in a couple snippets of that on the next video, just to show you what we got going, and I know you guys are gonna have some questions about that Airbnb, because it's gonna be pretty handy at Spud Run Golf. Guys, thanks for watching, thanks for playing with us. Spud Run Golf, over and out.